The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. I don't know why I have to keep saying it's Tuesday night. You know what day it is. It's time for some GoreCast Unplugged, original versus remake, with Buzz and Carter. It really sounded like a radio DJ there.
It sounded like a cool-ass DJ.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do when I drink 2 beers before the show. I think it's my, like, Popeye spinach thing. Like, I take a couple beers and then boom, Buzz appears because he's buzzed. How are you doing tonight, Carter?
Dude, I am doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. They're opening up more stuff in my state. We can actually like go outside now and like not be like penalized and be yelled at, and like the bars and restaurants are open, so I could go drink at other places instead of my house. And we're not out of the woods yet, but it's getting somewhat back to normal.
Yeah, but I've just gotten so used to drinking at home now. I go out and people are staring at me, and I just feel like,
yeah. I mean, I'm used to drinking at home too, so it's like I said, what we do isn't really much of a new thing for me. But before we get into our episode today, which is the Amityville Horror, is it real? Is it not? We won't be finding out today because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the movies, not if they're a true story or not. We got a couple of news bits to get into. One of them is a new movie that will be coming out called Coven, about some witches. In this film, 5 undergrad witches come together to perform a ritual to invoke the ancient powers of Ashura. The leader of the coven gets a bit overzealous and accidentally kills one of the members during the ritual. Wow. Words. But in order to get the powers, she has to have a full coven, so I'm assuming that means there has to be 5. I'm not really in on the coven terms, I guess, but...
You know what? 5 sounds very professional for an answer.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. According
to this, they need a full coven, and if one died out of 5, that means they have 4, so I'm assuming they need at least 5. She needs the strength of a complete coven, as I just said, to invoke Ashura's powers, and sends the rest of the coven members out to find a final witch. As she absorbs the powers, the surviving girls plot to take her down, but the possessed witch unleashes hell on the campus, with only one young witch to stop her. Coven will be coming out on DVD and digital on July 14th, which is my brother's birthday.
Kind of a new craft?
They said it's like The Craft meets... there was another movie that I already forgot. Suspiria. Sorry.
Okay.
Left my head for a minute. And coming off the...
Yeah. Quick shout out. We want to say hey to Katie, Cinema Reaper, and the Newbies Reviews.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Nick. Yeah, so, but yeah, coming off of the heels of the Suspiria remake, which I believe was last year, which I guess that we can actually probably cover that in a future episode of Original versus Remake.
Sweet, because I haven't actually seen either one of them.
Neither have I. Holy shit. I guess it has to happen now.
Right.
So we'll both have to watch it. But yeah, so, and then I guess I was hearing something about they're possibly doing a remake of The Craft. So it's kind of that's why it was like almost like both movies were kind of compared there with The Craft and Suspiria because they're both out. I don't know. It doesn't really make much of a sense why they would be the ones that could be compared, but yeah, so that should be hitting DVD and digital on July 14th. Trailer is available if you want to go check it out. You can go to the good old YouTubes. It's where you're watching us at. Type in The Coven 2020. I don't know if you need the 2020 part. And the trailer will just magically pop up. You press play, you watch it, and then you'll know what the movie's about, besides what I just told you. So, moving on, because I'm doing such a great job already. The next one is another movie that's going to be coming out. This one's a bit sooner. It's like in about 8 or 9 days. It's called You Should Have Left, which is starring Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried.
I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, she literally disappeared forever and then just showed back up for this movie, just for this movie. It's actually from the producer of The Invisible Man, I believe last year or this year. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I think it was this year. Yeah, because I think that was one of the first movies once the whole
lockdown thing happened.
Yeah, when that all happened, that was one of the big movies that kind of came out to digital. But Bacon and Seyfried play a couple seeking a vacation on an isolated edge of the world and discover that secrets demand a reckoning, and they travel with you. And
as a couple, dude, he is old as dirt.
Yeah, I don't know how old she is, but she sounds like she's been around for a bit, but I could be completely wrong, and she might just be a young lady, and I just don't know what I'm talking about. But from the research that I did, okay.
Yeah, I mean, not to be a dick, but I mean, he looked old when he was young, so.
But he was in Footloose. What that has to do with anything, couldn't tell you. But
he got strong calves.
There you go. He was also in Stir of Echoes, which I believe, from what I was reading.
Okay, that was fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
That was kind of trippy.
And I think the producer that did The Invisible Man, I believe, worked on Stir of Echoes, so they're a little bit of a reuniting here.
Okay.
But that movie will be coming to on demand June 19th. June 19th. So it'll be about a couple weeks away. That's another one where if you want to check, the trailer has been released for that. So check your YouTubes and you can look at the trailer for that. And the last news bit I have today is for Unsolved Mysteries. I almost did the dun-dun like it was Law and Order for some reason, but that was not the same show. All Unsolved Mysteries is back, and it is on Netflix with new episodes. This modern version of the classic show will maintain the chilling feeling through the lens of a Netflix documentary. The first 6 episodes, I don't know if that's all the season's going to be, or if it's just the first 6, and maybe they might be releasing them in groups or something. But the first 6 episodes will be premiering on Netflix on July 1st. From what I looked into, I don't believe there's going to be a host. I know there was a host for like the previous incarnations of the show. I remember watching it, but I was younger when it was on, so I don't specifically remember the show.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember old boy's name, but yeah.
I know there was a couple of different incarnations, I believe, with hosts, and I think they brought it out for various different networks and stuff like that. But I do know that I believe, like I said, this is me trying just to remember, I believe like back in the day, each episode had a couple of different stories per episode. From what I read, this version will have 1 story per episode. So it'll be like a little bit of a longer stretch of the episode instead of maybe like a quicker rushed
that would
version
actually be kind of cool.
Yeah,
because that was part of the problem I had was like I'd start to kind of get into it and it just when you're trying to cram more than one into something, you tend to have to cut and rush.
Yeah. I believe I didn't write down the specifics, but I believe like the episodes have already been like announced, like what the episodes will be about. I know when I was kind of reading through, because I got a little bit of my information from Bloody Disgusting, they had a breakdown of like each episode and what a little bit of what each episode was going to be about. And there's one about aliens, which intrigues me because I'm always a big alien nut. So some UFOs in the sky. I forgot exactly what city, but some American city. That's all I know. But yeah, that's something I definitely would like to check out because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're probably going to be about an hour. I would maybe 30 minutes to an hour each. And I don't think it specifically set a runtime for how long each episode was going to be. But like I said, it'll be one story per episode, so it should be a nice little whodunit. And it did say also like it's still gonna like because I mean it's obviously Unsolved Mysteries or it wouldn't be on the show, so it's still gonna like advocate the viewers like help, like if you know about this story and if you can give us any information. I'm assuming they'll have something on the episode saying, "Hey, contact da 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 da," with any information like they used to with the original series. So
yeah, that's gonna be kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, so I definitely like want to give that a check. Like I said, that should be hitting Netflix on July 1st. First 6 episodes, but saying first 6 episodes, I'm assuming it's gonna be in segments maybe where they'll release like 6 and then maybe a couple months down the line release another 6. But that's all I got for now. But if we get any more information, we'll definitely keep you guys up to date. But that should do it for the news bits tonight. Time to get on with the main course of the episode, and that is the original versus remake of Amityville Horror.
Oh, before we do that, I want to say hey to Giz because he's watching us, and I got to agree with him and Katie. Stir of Echoes was a phenomenal fucking movie.
Ooh, yes.
That's have you seen that one? Yeah.
I'm gonna tread lightly
here. I don't know. Might be
obviously, you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, I just gotta say, like, if you get a chance, like, it is. Oh God, it is a good movie. One of the things that just fucked me up though is I can't handle like eyeballs and fingernails. And one of the flashbacks is somebody getting like their fingernail ripped off, and I about lost my shit. So. But story-wise, it's a really good fucking movie.
Kevin Bacon's been in some good pictures. Also, Tremors. We kind of discussed that last week. He's in Stir of Echoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm making sure. Like I surprise, surprise. I've heard of the movie. I kind of remember he's in the movie, but I know nothing about the movie. So I'm just making sure that I'm not talking out of my ass.
There's like Stir of Echoes, and then I think they made a sequel, but I don't remember what it was called. It was like Stir of Echoes, The Call, or some weird shit. It wasn't just like Stir of Echoes 2. And the first one was definitely shit. Right.
Yeah, that's that might be an interesting topic for a future episode of something where we do some Kevin Bacon movies. Seems like he might be in a couple of related. So. But you ready to move into Amityville Horror?
I totally am, dude.
The real story. Johnny knows my quotation fingers because I think we did an episode of old podcast that me and him used to do where I think we don't look at the movie itself, but we looked at like the actual like story, the true story of the Amityville Horror, and I did a lot of bunny ears during that because there was a lot of true stories. So, but we'll get into the original Amityville Horror. A little bit of a quick plot synopsis is we have the Lutz family that moves into a new house. They moved into this new house 1 year before, or 1 year after, I'm sorry, the murder of the Defeo family. Ronald Defeo Jr. murdered his family in the middle of the night because he heard voices in his head telling him to kill his family. George and Kathy are newlyweds, and Kathy has 3 children from a previous marriage. They don't really get into what, unless I completely missed it. I don't believe they really got into what happened to that marriage. They kind of get into a version of it in the remake, but I don't believe they really touched on it in the original, unless I snoozed for a couple seconds and missed it.
It was more kind of scattered out throughout and stuff.
Yeah,
pieces here, pieces there, kind of thing.
So they move into the new house. I believe it was like on the first day. Father Delaney shows up, which was kind of weird because I don't remember him like being called or anything to come to the house. He just shows up and they're like playing in the backyard.
I kind of took that as just a side quest. Wasn't really like that big a part of the story.
Yeah,
well, seemed rather close to him.
Yeah, well, especially Catherine, because it seems like from what she was saying later on in the movie that as Father Delaney helped her through a lot of personal stuff, and I'm assuming she wanted to have him come in and bless the house. So he does that. He comes into the house, like I said. He kind of like just the door kind of opens, walks in, goes up to a bedroom, one of the kids' bedrooms. I can't remember exactly what kid, but he kind of sees the family out playing in the backyard, and he decides to bless the house. Once he does that, he hears voices from the house telling him to get out. And then we see a bunch of flies appearing and see a couple, and then he kind of goes and does his thing. And you see a few more, and then next thing you know, it seems like the whole room is infested with flies. And that eventually drives him out of the house. And then we have, moving on, we have the parents and the 2 boys. I don't believe I pulled up what I wanted to pull up. So I'm trying to make sure that I know all the names here. We got Greg and Matt Lutz, and then we got Amy Lutz, which is the little girl's name.
Right.
The parents and the 2 boys go to an engagement party of Catherine's brother. I believe Amy Lutz wasn't feeling good, or they said she wasn't feeling good, so she didn't go.
Right. So they got the babysitter for her.
Yeah, who had a really sweet headpiece going on with the whole braces thing going on. I was like, yes, this is definitely
Dude, I forgot about that headgear. Like, that was some crazy shit back in the day.
That was pure 70s and stuff, like good stuff right there. Like, you wanted your teeth protected, you had to wear the freaking metal thing around your head. During that time when they're out, the babysitter gets locked in the daughter's closet. She goes in. I think she heard a noise. That's one of the bad things about watching the remakes almost back to back and the original is like you don't remember which, in some parts you don't remember which one happened and what. I think she heard some noises coming from the closet.
No, she was like, "Hey, dude, it's bedtime. Let me go get your PJs."
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So she goes in there, the door slams and locks her in. She can't get out. She's screaming at Amy to let her out. While this is going on, they're at the reception or the engagement party. You can already tell George is starting, feel not well. Looks like he's like sick, kind of maybe got the flu. He kind of mentions it to Catherine that he's just not up to it. And like, he's just like, I just want to go home. They go home. They find the babysitter locked in the closet. They're like, Amy, why don't you let her out? She's like, well, God, I forgot the name of the girl. And it's not on the cast list. Shoot. What was the name of the ghost girl? Or her imaginary friend?
Jody.
There we go. Thank you. She's kind of like, Jody told me not to let her out. So they're like, you're absolutely crazy. So then later on, we find out George's business is beginning to suffer because he's not showing up at the job site or anything like that. His business partner comes to have him sign the payroll check so he can get the payroll checks out to the employees. George is constantly always chopping wood because he's always cold because the demon that's possessing him is making him cold. So he's doing that when his business partner shows up. It kind of flips out on him. He's like, you know what? You should have been signed yesterday. And he's like, kind of like, well, yeah, that's why I'm here, because he should have been signed yesterday, and you weren't like where you're supposed to be because you seem like you're taking a little bit too much with this new house and everything. So then later on, his business partner just like calls him up, tells him to meet him at the bar. It almost seems like when he meets his business, George meets his business partner at the bar, he seems like he's almost kind of feeling better. From what I noticed, like at the reception party, he was kind of feeling sick. But when he went out to the bar, he had a little disagreement about something. He punches his buddy, picks him up, and then after that, he seems like he's kind of a little bit better. He apologizes for punching him. So his business partner suggests that maybe George and Kathy just go out for the night, go to dinner, and his business partner and his business partner's wife. I don't remember their name. Is it Jimmy? Is that his business partner? It's either Jimmy or Jeff, one of the two. Obviously, it doesn't help because they're both with J's. Because I'm looking at the cast list and just says Jeff and then Jimmy and Jimmy's wife. For some reason, I feel like his wife had a name because she kind of played a little bit of a role in the movie towards the end. I'm just gonna say business partner's wife.
Caroline.
Okay, so it is them. Okay, so it's Jeff and Caroline. Jimmy and Jimmy's wife must be some other side story that I don't remember. So Jeff tells George, we'll watch the kids. You guys go out for the night, get your mind off of some things for a couple hours. George agrees. They go back to the house. George goes up to go tell Kathy, we're going to go out. We're going to watch the kids. Caroline gets this feeling. She senses a negative presence.
Dude, she sensed it from the fucking driveway.
Yeah,
she wasn't even in the house, and she was already like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, the first time when he came checks, she was there, and then she kind of oh no, I don't like this feeling. I'll stay in the car. I'll be here when you're done. The second time comes, she starts to go, and George or Jeff is like, I thought this place creeped you out. It's like, it does, but it intrigues me too. So she goes down to the basement. She gets this weird feeling. Down in the basement, there's this wall, brick, or I don't know if it's brick or rock or some kind of bit of wall there. She senses the presence coming from there. So she takes a hammer. She starts to kind of bust it out open. And Jeff's like, "What are you doing?" And then George comes down. He's like, "What are you doing in my house?" And then she's like, "I sense something." And he's kind of looking. He's like, "Man, I think George says I think she's right." So he takes it, keeps busting it open, breaks open the wall, and you just see red, all over the walls and everything. And then Kathy comes down. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's asked what's going on. And then Caroline gets possessed by what seems to be Father Delaney.
Evil?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even think it was really anybody in particular. I just thought it was kind of the whole demonic.
Yeah. When I was reading into the synopsis, I think it said it was Father Delaney's voice. I could be completely wrong, and it could just be a random voice. But some voice comes from out, and it said that it is the passage to hell, is what the voice says. And they don't want anything to do with that. So the last night that they actually finally are in the house, you see, actually, if I would have looked down at my notes, I would have saw Jody right there. I guess Catherine sees a pair of eyes out the window when she's upstairs in Amy's bedroom, and I guess
that was
Jody.
The husband.
I thought it was Catherine. Okay.
No, he went out to the boat house thing, and on his way back up to it, you got to see the pig, red-eyed creature.
Yeah. You're right. Okay.
Left window, and since it was in the kids' room, he kind of freaked out and ran up there.
Okay. So yeah, we finally kind of see who Jody is, which again, this is a big transfer into the remake. We actually, a couple of times that Jody's actually a kid, is the youngest of the Defeo kids. But in this movie, we see it as the pig creature in the pair of eyes. George finally kind of like comes to the voices and everything. It actually tries to kill his family. But Kathy finally kind of, distracts him. And George kind of gets, back to his senses and decides like, hey, we got to go. They all run out to their car. They start to drive off, and George stops the car, runs back to the house because he was going to go get the dog because Amy was complaining about.
Dude, and that's some fucking mad respect. After all that, should be like, sweetie, Daddy will get you a new fucking puppy.
Yeah.
And just keep on fucking driving, dude.
You know what?
Like, I love dogs, but we were lucky to get out that bitch the first time.
It's a lot better than what the Ryan Reynolds version of George Lutz did to the dog. More on that.
Yeah, that is shit.
We'll touch on that in a couple minutes.
I mean, come on, dude. The house was literally fucking bleeding as they were walking out the door.
Blood poured.
I love dogs, but not that fucking much.
No.
That fucker can't find the door. We find a dog.
Yep. So George decides that he's going to go save the dog. He falls into the hole that was in the basement of the room that they knocked open with the brick or the hammer, and just a bunch of blood just jumps in, just blood everywhere. Comes out of the blood pit. Actually, with the help of the dog actually kind of pulls him out of the hole. The dog didn't seem like he really wanted to go anywhere, so like George literally had to pick the dog up and walk the dog.
They say that animals have that sixth sense. I think it was more of like the dog was doing that whole protection.
Yeah,
trying in between.
Most likely, because like the dog had you could tell things were going wrong throughout the movie because the dog kept kind of barking at different things. He was the one that kind of noticed the little thing with the wall in the basement,
right?
Sniffing on that area, but where the brick or rock or whatever the fuck was down there that they knocked over. But yeah, the dog definitely could tell something was going on throughout the movie. So then George, carrying the dog, runs out to the car. They jump in the car and they drive off, never, ever, ever to return to the house, not even to get their personal belongings, as he said.
And that's respect. Because, all that shit is dead to me. I don't give a fuck about my PlayStation, my clothes. All that shit can be rebought slowly, dude.
Yeah. I'm back in, 79? They probably had, the Atari. Or some. Whatever game systems were going on in 1979.
Real quick, somebody... Who was it? Cinema Reaper asked how many films there were for the whole Amityville thing. One of them,
more than I can count.
Johnny found a spot that said 16. The one that I found, I was on Wikipedia, and a lot of it's like the Amityville 3D, the Amityville, the Evil Escapes, and then there's a few others that I guess maybe touch on the story because like the Conjuring 2. Okay. Because I didn't really read, I did like a quick Google.
I know there was Amityville Dollhouse and
right. So I'm probably going to go with 16 in the list that I found.
I think that's very probably spot on because, like I said, I think when me and Johnny did that episode a few years back, I think I looked it up and it was fairly in the mid to low teens. So 16 sounds about right. I know they just had one that came out within the last couple of years. The Amityville Awakening, I believe it was what it was called.
Yeah. I think that was the last one to come out. Either way, I'm still going to stand by the answer of way too fucking many.
Yeah. Yeah, way too many. That's if there's more than, especially with this franchise, if there's more than one, that's way too many. So there's way too many. So
I liked it. I mean, it had that old school feel to it. You had the dramatic music as somebody's coming around the corner that something may or may not happen. It built tension. It definitely, because we'll get into the remake later, but I felt like the first one kind of had, in this one, the priest was a little bit more there. You got a sense of the house. Like in this one, what was it? Caroline, the nun stops by, the priest. It's not just like, oh, something's funky with these people. It's like, it's so bad that even visitors can kind of feel this issue. You know what I mean?
A lot of like religious people can tell that there's, I mean, I got not just religious people, but the majority of the people that showed up to the house were of, like you said, father, and then sister. I don't remember the name, but like a couple of the characters that show up.
They got like a block away from the house, even though they were like, kind of looking like they were in their deathbed. Like, I gotta go, and they're like a block away. Ooh, shit!
Yeah, and like
I felt like it kind of did better at showing the weight of what they were kind of going through, and it wasn't just them.
And we'll touch on it a little bit more when we get into the remake, but it also seems like there's different effects that George Lutz had, and like, because like I was saying a little bit, is when he went to that party or whatever, he was still feeling kind of sick in the original, but when you go into the remake, it's like the further he got away from the house,
it's almost like a freeze, right.
Yeah, so it's like only if you're within.
I felt like the first one kind of like kept that momentum going of like, once whatever was in the mix, like it was still able to kind of tear all that shit apart.
Yeah.
Only thing I didn't get is the trying to tie the Lutz guy in with the past murders.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, this is like, I keep wanting to go into the remake, but I don't want to go too far into it because we'll get to it in a minute. But like, even in the remake, that like people or no, maybe it was the original. No, it was the original when they were at the bar. He was like, you even look like the kid.
Yeah,
that killed his parents, or like you look like Ronald Defeo. He's like, I served the kid like a year ago when around the same time after he murdered his parents and stuff. He's like, you look exactly like him.
And so like that's the only kind of weird spot where I was like, okay, like I kind of kept expecting something to come of that. And then it's like, oh, and then the Lutz family left the house. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that kind of seemed like out of place.
Yeah. I do believe that both of these movies, I think, were, I mean, I guess that's really to say that, I guess, about any movie, but I guess both of these movies were definitely good for their time period. This one obviously definitely was like, a good 70s, late 70s, early 80s horror movie. And then the remake, which we'll get into in a second.
You had Josh Brolin, Margaret Kidder. I mean, they're both great actors and stuff. But I think we were talking about it earlier, saying that you felt like this one was just a little too long with not a lot going on.
Yeah, it's weird because like I feel like each movie, like if they swapped a couple of things, I think I would have liked each of them more. The original was a bit too long with not a lot going on. I mean, there was a bit going on, but not to the extent of the remake. The remake was like a half hour shorter with way too much stuff going on. Like you're kind of like not able to really keep track of what's going on. Like I said, I don't want to touch on too much because we'll get into it in a minute here when we get into the remake. But what are your overall thoughts? I mean, you kind of gave it, but what are your overall thoughts of the original?
Like I said, I liked it, man. It's definitely, like you said, there's bits and pieces from both where it's like it could have been better and stuff. But overall, as far as the original, I liked the drawn out tension. Like I didn't know if this corner was going to be something or not. And so I kind of liked that. I kind of liked how this one brought in more people. Like I said, you had like the priests and stuff. You had everybody that's not part of the family still being affected by the family.
Yeah. I do feel that this one definitely had a lot of suspense to it. Definitely worked for its time. Like you said, I do like the fact that they did use a little bit more of like the supporting characters. Not a lot of supporting characters in the remake.
No, it's like a hard focus on them.
Yeah, we had the business partner and his wife. We had the priest, and we had a few different priests and stuff like that in the remake or the original. But yeah, I felt it was a little too long.
Yeah. So no, that's just it. Like I really liked it, but there's a lot of dragon spots that they could have cut shorter.
Yeah. So, but we'll go ahead and we'll cut to the trailer, and then we'll get into the 2005 remake. So, without further ado, here's the trailer for Amityville Horror 19.
It's the kind of house they don't build anymore. A relic of a time when the world wasn't in such a hurry, when there was still time for a little charm and elegance. It has stood empty for a long while, and at the price, it is a bargain. For a growing young family, it is almost too good to be true.
What do you think?
I love it.
James Brolin, Margot Kidder, Rod Steiger in the Amityville Horror.
God's peace in this house.
Hello?
Hello, Kathy. Father Delaney, there's something very important.
Mommy, I want to go home.
What do you want from us?
What's all going on? We have to do something.
I'm coming apart! Oh, Mother of God, I'm coming apart!
28 days after the Lutz family moved into their dream house, they were running for their lives. What happened to them is an experience in terror you will never forget, and you will believe in the Amityville Horror. From the best-selling book that made millions believe in the unbelievable, the Amityville Horror.
Yeah. And we're back. That was the trailer for the 1979 Amityville Horror starring Josh Brolin, right? I'm thinking of another Brolin. Okay, Josh Brolin. As a hunky Bob Ross, as our producer said while we were watching that trailer.
I'm sorry, James Brolin.
That's what I thought. And I said Josh Brolin, and I was thinking, like, I think that's the guy who played Thanos. But okay, yep. James Brolin, one of the Brolin clan, is a sexy Bob Ross, a hunky Bob Ross, painting beautiful pictures of demons and such in the skies. And only happy accidents is what we have with hunky Bob Ross. But we get in from hunky Bob Ross to hunky Ryan Reynolds. Good transition right there. Because it's time for the 2005 remake. I go off the fly. It starred Ryan Reynolds and Melissa George as Kathy Lutz.
And a young Chloe Mortez.
Yes, as they even changed the name because it's Chelsea Lutz. Lutz.
Oh, shit, I didn't even notice that.
I didn't really notice that either. And then you got Billy and Michael, the elder boys. Kind of the same setup at the beginning of this movie, you know, Lutz family, moving to a new house, Defeo murder, Kathy Lutz's husband died, or no, not the same as the original. Yeah. Kathy Lutz's husband died in the remake. We don't hear that in the original. So they move into the house. It's one of the things where it's like Kathy Lutz kind of, wouldn't say like pressured George into buying the house, but she was kind of making it known that she wanted this house.
Okay, but it's the same flow as the original, though. Like, they both were kind of like, oh, but it is so cheap. Which, I mean, that's a life lesson right there.
Yeah, they asked the realtor, like, both times. He's like, what happened here? And this is where the little bit of one of the differences, another difference starts off is the realtor actually tells them up front of the murders that happened.
Right.
Don't believe they did that in the original.
No, they had to be. They kind of had to pull it out of her. Like, why is this house only $5? Well, I mean, like, there was a horrific murder.
Yeah.
Excuse you?
Yeah.
So,
in this one, the realtor tells him, there was a murder in the, upstairs bedroom, but it's okay. And then, George Lutz is like, oh, well, the house didn't kill the people, or did it? We'll find out. So, kind of the same things happen. George Lutz starts kind of feeling a little off, feeling very cold. It was very chilly in the house. This sets up for a lot of shirtless acts chopping throughout the movie with Ryan Reynolds' amazing six-pack. They did whatever they could to get a shirt off of Ryan Reynolds in this film.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was fucking ripped in this one. Yeah. And I think we talked about that was also around the Blade 3, so he may have been coming off that one.
Could have been, yeah. I think it was a year after Blade 3, so he could still been. I mean, that's a year after, but they could have been filmed pretty shortly after. Just didn't release the year after, but he was probably
either way, he was the eye candy, and they made damn sure to make sure, like, oh, you're getting a cup of coffee? Take your fucking shirt off, bro. It's cool.
And the funny thing is, they had to make him eye candy because have you seen the real life George Lutz?
No,
no eye candy there. There is not a single six-pack on his stomach whatsoever. He's got a full keg going on, if you know what I mean. Looking like Al Borland from Tool Time. He was, I don't think so, Tim. That's what he said. Sorry, I had to just go off there. But you can tell throughout the movie is like George, his like attitude towards the rest of the family is obviously changing. Especially towards the oldest son, which was...
It was weird, though, because it seemed like in the first one, they had like a month before shit went AWOL. I don't remember. It seemed like it started off quicker. Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry.
Yeah.
It seemed like it started... Fuck. Quit. Sorry, dude. Captain West. That fucking hurt. All right, so...
Are you living in the Amityville Horror?
Apparently, dude, the cat just went AWOL on my fucking leg. It seemed like in the remake, man, they started off rather quick. I don't remember them getting a month in before it went to shit.
Well, because it was 28 days, I believe, was the full time they were in the house for both movies and the real life story. But like, that is definitely true because like in the original, you're like day 1, day 4, day 11. It was like day 1, day 14. I'm like, okay, must not a lot happen between days 2 and 13. Besides George Lutz being very cold and probably chopping lots of wood with no shirt on.
But it was weird how he kind of focused on the eldest boy. Like there was some serious beef. That is not funny. Kidding. But it did seem like he definitely had some issues with the oldest boy, whereas the original, it was more of just kind of overall.
We don't really see. I mean, we see the kids in the original, but they're not really focal points of the movie. Besides,
I mean, like
Jody.
Yeah. Right, but I mean, like, he did have his outbreaks and stuff when, like, shit went completely sour. Like, say, in the original, the babysitter was still an issue. But here, it just seemed like he was a little bit harder on the oldest son.
This might be because it seemed like, especially with the finding out that the father was died somehow, there was a lot of tension between George and Billy. So that maybe kind of added to it a little bit. And then also at the end of the movie, when he, fully flips out, he's looking at Billy and you can see like his like face change into like a demonic thing. And I think he only sees that with Billy. So I'm wondering if that also adds to a little bit of the tension because he also sees it when he's watching He's watching the home movies in the basement, and he's watching like the
Yes.
family run around, and the boy's like face gets distorted, but it's only his. So I'm wondering if that kind of is why he's, more negative towards the older boy. But going on, he actually kills the dog in this one. Hearing the dog constantly barking in the boathouse, he goes down there to try to investigate it. He kind of sees something out of the corner of his eye.
I was going to say, in defense, it wasn't like he sought the dog out. He just wasn't in his right mind.
Yeah, and he kind of saw something. He just started swinging, and it ended up being the dog. And the dog, unfortunately, is no longer with us in the film to this point on.
I would say the remake kind of made him go. Maybe it was just me. Like a little bit more mental in this one.
Yeah, he definitely turned it up. Like we were kind of talking about when we were kind of getting ready for the episode, is it seemed like they had to turn the craziness with Ryan Reynolds up a few notches because he's, the heartthrob and rom-com Ryan Reynolds, and they kind of had to make him a bad boy. So he was a little bit more of a nut. He was George. That's true.
Right.
So one easier ways for people to not like Ryan Reynolds is have him kill a dog. Like Joe Bob Briggs said in the old days of Monster Vision, you can kill all the people that you want, but when you start killing the pets, we don't want the pets being killed. Kill all the humans.
Yeah, and like that's true, dude. In any movie, if you really want to make somebody be a fucking asshole or a bad guy, start dropping pets.
Yeah.
You can drop as many people as you want, and I didn't really like that dude anyway. But
yeah. Probably deserved it somehow, but animals don't deserve any negativity.
Look, it's weird the subtle changes in this one, like the issue between him and the older son, stuff like that. It was kind of interesting. I kind of dug it.
Yeah, and he constantly
there was like no build up to anything though. Like,
no.
Like I said, it just seemed like we moved in on day one, and he already had an issue with this person. He was already acting like super fucking crazy.
And I think that's the downfall from them going from day 1 to 14 as opposed to the original, day 1, day 4, day 11. Like there's a slow build up. Here it was like, 2 weeks have passed already, and we're only 20 minutes into this piece. And like we're like, okay, well they only got like another 2 weeks left, and we're already done pretty much because it was 28 days. So, so as things go on, Kathy decides to reach out to Father Calloway, who's obviously different name here, to bless the house because she can kind of tell, something's going on. He goes, to go bless the house, and then kind of the same things start happening. See the flies show up, and we hear the "get out" from the demonic voices. Then we also find that Kathy discovers that the house belonged to Reverend Ketchum, which was kind of a bit of a prelude. Like there was that little cool kitchen magnet scene where it said catch him and kill him. And it wasn't like, it was spelt like how the guy's last name is. And she didn't really, at the time, didn't put 2 and 2 together until she kind of did a further investigation and found out about Reverend Ketchum, who tortured Native Americans in the 17th century, which is why the house was cursed. So it kind of gives a little bit of an origin to why we have said cursed house as opposed to just, it's haunted.
See, right. And I don't know, man. Like, I kind of liked the original, this is just a portal to hell.
Yeah.
It's cursed, it was like...
Not everything needs to be explained.
Right.
It really doesn't. Like, I don't need a reason for it to be the portal to hell. A portal to hell, Jesus, could just show up out of my toilet for all I care. We don't need to know in this one why this place is haunted. But we find out why, because Reverend Ketchum is knocking off some Native Americans.
And, like, I just kind of feel like that changed the dynamic because here... Jody, like, I mean, like, we never really, I don't know, in the original, we never really said Jody was a bad person. It was like, hey, Jody don't fucking like you and bad shit happens to you.
Yeah, here that gets turned off.
Jody was kind of a trapped spirit that was, like, trying to warn the little girl, trying to play with her, but in that same sense, she was, like, don't talk to the bad man. Like, I kind of feel like it changed it from like a kind of like the demonic thing that the original was, and the whole unexplained whispers and murders to, oh yeah, this is just possession. And I like it just didn't have that same kind of like scary punch to it.
Yeah, because in here, like we also like we have Chelsea is told by Jody to like if she wants to see her dad, she has to like climb the top of the roof and jump off if she wants to see her dad.
And
like,
you can stay and play with me forever.
Yeah, it seems like Jody had more of a sinister, to me, sinister motive out of this in this one, maybe as opposed to.
I don't know, man. I would almost say childish because, like I said, it was the hey, you can see your dad, but you get to stay here and play with me, and that's really all the girl had been doing up to this point. Like they went off to play,
and we did the same thing with like the babysitter, who was a lot different looking in this one. She didn't have no crazy headpiece. She was a blunt smoke and hottie who was a former. Right. I wasn't talking about Johnny. I was talking about the babysitter.
Now that's probably the most aggressive we see Jody because she didn't really like the fact that she was telling the house story to the kids and
there's also the fact that she said that she used to babysit the Defeos when they were still alive.
So and Jody got so there was like a little bit of animosity on both sides.
In that crazy scene where like she's stuck in the closet and Jody shows up and like grabs her finger and like sticks her finger into like the hole in her head where she was shot by Ronald Defeo at the beginning of the movie.
And that's the other thing. This one definitely went like there was really no gore in the first one. It was all scary, kind of what have you.
Here we blood on the walls and stuff.
Yeah, but here it was definitely like some fucking gore and
a lot of jump scares.
You saw a lot more, right? Like the whole shutting the medicine cabinet, and having the fucking thing behind you. We definitely kind of went more gory and jump scares.
Yeah. So to wrap up this one, Kathy believes that George is possessed because obviously he's showing the signs of completely like change of personality, and especially she kind of notices when they do go out for dinner, he kind of seems like he's better. Then he goes to the hospital later on in the movie, and he does seem like he's better. So whenever he's away from the house, he seems like he's kind of feeling better from the possession. So she tries to get what's that?
I said, which again was just weird.
Yeah, because it's not what we saw in the original. And it's like possession doesn't really have to do with how close you are, proximity to the house. Like if you're possessed, you're possessed.
Now I will say though, when she keeps like for however long she's sitting there looking at him in the face with the just horridly bloodshot fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Baby, okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. Really? That motherfucker don't look okay.
Yeah. So she finally comes back to the house after she kind of is starting to put two and two together when she finds out about Reverend Ketchum, and tries to get the family out of there because she knows that George is possessed. They do their best to try to get the whole family out. George is like, no, you wanted this godforsaken house, and da-da-da-da-da. So he puts up a fight, and then he grabs a shotgun. He goes to go in the basement. She slams the door on him. He pops out. He's kind of chasing the family with the shotgun. They're up on the roof. They end up knocking George off the roof. He gets up. He goes to attack the son, the oldest son. That's when like the little demented faces kind of show up on the kid as he's kind of staring at him. He goes to shoot him, and then Kathy, bops him in the face, I believe. Oh, it is with the gun because he had the gun, and the gun gets knocked out of his hand. And then when he gets back up, he doesn't have the gun. Kathy ends up having the gun, puts it in the back of George's head. He kind of turns it around and puts it to his forehead, and is like, he doesn't say shoot me, but he just like sits there, and then she can't do it. And then she ends up bopping him in the face with the gun, trying to knock him out. And then he kind of starts to come to. He's like, you kill me, kill me. He knows that he's possessed, and he's just like, just kill me, just kill me. And she's like, no one's dying tonight. Bops him with the butt of the gun again. They tie him up, put him in the boat, take the boat out to the, not the sea, but in the lake. They drive it out, and then he kind of wakes up, and he's just like keep going, never go back.
Right. This one was definitely all about the wife saving the family.
Yeah. But I think we'll go ahead and get into the trailer for this one, and then we'll come back and get our finishing thoughts of this episode before we leave you all tonight. So here is the trailer for the remake of Amityville Horror.
Houses here are way out of our price range. When the business is good, we're gonna have the greatest house. It's beautiful.
This is an amazing house. You are going to love it.
Holy. This is the deal of a lifetime. So, what's the catch?
There was a crime, a murder.
In the house?
Several people, a family.
Claims he heard voices coming from within the house.
Well, houses don't kill people. To a perfect house, and to a perfect family.
Who are you talking to?
The girl who lives in my closet.
And what's her name?
Jody.
What's the matter?
Just seeing things, I guess. When did you come back to bed?
I can't sleep. This is my mind.
There was a family lived here some time ago. They had a similar problem.
I'm living in their house. We need to get out of here. Just pack up and go.
Everything we have is in this house.
It's okay, Mommy. Jody won't hurt you. But the man who lives here, she says he's bad.
Almighty God, bless and sanctify this house.
Open the door! It's not opening! I can't open it! George? There's something evil in my house.
And that was the trailer for the 2005 Ryan Reynolds remake of Ryan Reynolds Presents the Amityville Horror and all of his abs. Because that's all you really took from this movie is Ryan Reynolds' abs.
So many abs.
You say you had a question for Katie? I think you were saying.
Yeah. She was saying, hey, does anyone want a Lotus Bischoff? I have no fucking clue what that is.
Probably some crazy food that we don't know.
Okay, and I'm bad with curiosity, so that's why I'm wondering. Anyways, but yeah, no. And the newbies review brought up that this changed how I saw Van Wilder. Yeah, it really did, dude.
I'd have to see Van Wilder before it changes my view of Van Wilder, but I know Ryan Reynolds was saying it.
Oh my god! I know. I try not to do this with every episode, but you baffle me.
It turns into a running gag here.
It does, but such a weird one. Okay, would you say you like him when he does comedy?
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like to me it's more natural to him with comedy. He's got that good sense of humor.
Thank you, Katie. Then I think you would dig Van Wilder. It's just the kind of he is the king of college of.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Corners in any way, shape, or form, and it turns out to be really funny.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll have to add that to the very, 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 very long list of movies I haven't seen. But also, before we head out, let's ask the audience is if there's any upcoming episodes that you guys would like to see myself and Carter tackle in the original versus remake universe. Because there's so many. We might have the next couple possibly set aside, but we'll need more. So we want to be the. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
We want to do the shows you guys want to watch. How about
yes,
that
there we go. That's what I was trying. I was like, I thought it was going to come out, and my brain just shut off. It was like rebooting for a second. Want to be the power of the people. There we go.
So some of the people have spoken. Number one, Katie, thank you. Coffee biscuits. I would have never fucking got that. Great.
So I thought that's what she wanted us to watch. I was like,
No. Two, she's like, we're just going to give you guys a box of all the foods you don't know exist, including meanies and the coffee biscuits. Remake suggestion, The Thing. 2 points. 1, awesome idea. 2, you know what? I love food, dude. I am totally down for that.
Yes. Yes to all of the above.
Cinema Reapers has a couple of suggestions. The Blob original versus remake, and The Thing original versus remake.
Okay. The Thing sounds like that's going to be a upcoming episode, because I was kind of looking at that today, and I almost was going to say it, but it definitely will be.
Cinema Reapers said if you did one of those, that would be very kind of you. So.
Oh, guess what? We'll probably do both at some point.
Oh, and then Giz said Fright Night. Fuck, there's some.
That was another one that I literally, because you asked me earlier today, you're like, all right, well, we got this week's episode. What are we thinking about next week? I literally just typed in horror remakes. I was looking at the list, and I was like, okay. And then a lot of what my basis is on is if my availability to watch it, which is why I picked this week's episode.
And Newbie Reviews also suggested Poltergeist Old School versus New School.
Ooh, I like that one too. Ooh, okay. I've seen both of those.
Like, dude, our month has already filled up easily.
Ooh. Yeah, everything that was just mentioned will be done in future episodes of original versus remake. Don't know the order, but they will be done.
All right, well, dude, I fucking love The Thing.
Yeah, that's probably going to be, because we got, I mean, I guess it's not really set in stone, but next week we are going to take a look at The Crazies. I was going to try to do like a little bit of a not as big movie. Try
Which
to
is
change
cool,
it up a bit.
The original one. I've only seen the remake.
That's the same thing with me. I think we were talking about that earlier today. Like I've only seen the remake once, so it's definitely going to be a refresher for me.
I think I only saw it when it came out.
Yeah, so I think we're going to go ahead and do The Crazies next week, and I think we're going to do The Thing the week after, because that does seem like that's it's been mentioned more than once, and then we'll definitely get into the other suggestions throughout the next month or so, because really we just kind of come up with the ideas, but like I said, we'd rather get your guys' idea, because if you guys want to see it, we don't care, because we'll watch it, any of it. So
and you're helping us see movies, so that's kind of a twofer.
Definitely. So
not a stab, just more of a promotion. Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. But definitely appreciate your guys' suggestions there. Any closing thoughts, Carter, before we get into the trailer / mini movie?
You know, man, I'm not really gonna down on either of them. I think if it's a more of a kind of a mood thing. If you're looking for some old school, the old school Amityville Horror will be good. If you're just kind of wanting some quick gore jumps, New School.
Yeah,
they both kind of hit 50 with me.
I definitely agree. I guess the biggest gripe I have with the original is kind of what I've already mentioned. Original is a bit too long, not enough in it. Maybe that's because it's too long. The remake's a bit shorter with a little bit too much because it's shorter time, so they got to push more of it in there. If they could have swapped the more into the longer movie and the less into the shorter movie, then I think they would have been perfect movies. But we can't have perfection in this world today.
But no, you know, out of both, I would definitely.
I can't see the screen. I'll look at it later, but my producer just told me in the ears that I guess we can have perfection, and it's called Ryan Reynolds' abs. So my apologies.
I'm just gonna say if that's I'm jealous. And whatever that
So-
lip cup cut thing, like I didn't even know that was a muscle. So
Yeah, I only dream of having those, but it'll never be a reality.
yeah,
So,
I'm having those, but in different ways. So no, definitely check out both on my book.
yes, but that will do it for us tonight. Thursday we have our group episode where there'll be 4 of us, and there'll be movies that we're going to talk about. But we're doing Highlander and some other shit that matches Highlander this
Sometimes
Thursday.
I have to force Buzz to watch shit.
Yeah. I'm going to find I'm going to be watching a lot of movies with this endeavor here. So, but until Thursday, this is the Buzz and the Carter. But we do have, like I said, a trailer / short film for you guys for the new episode of the GoreCast, which will be returning this Sunday on American Horrors at 8:30 p.m. Whenever it equates to is GMT. And this week they'll be looking at The Shining / Dr. Sleep. So until then, a GoreCast out.
Still like pissed off about that whole accident last week. Look,
I am, yeah.
I'm sorry, okay? It was a simple mistake, all right? A simple
mistake. A simple mistake.
Yeah.
4 days on a frickin' island getting chased by a guy in a purple fucking leotard is not a simple mistake. Or fun.
Did you know it was originally supposed to be a red leotard?
I don't care if it was originally supposed to be red. It's red now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, by the end of it, you made a pretty good job.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, look, I swear, right? This time, I'll make it up to you, okay? I got another idea for a vacation spot. Don't worry, I have a whole new way of doing the spell. It won't fuck up this time. I promise. It'll be good, okay? Trust me.
I feel you're talking bollocks.
It'll be fine. Okay, so.
I don't like this. Stop it.
Power of the Abyss.
Stop it.
Where for you,
Stop
the
it.
light of the sun is pining.
Stop it.
Open a portal.
Stop it.
Where for us, it
Stop
is the Shining.
Stop it. What the fuck are we doing in the hotel bathroom? Who's that screaming chick?
I have no idea.
Here's Johnny.
No, here's Johnny. Right, let's get the fuck out of here. What in the actual flying fuck is going on?
I don't know, but look, at least I got us to the hotel, all right? So just relax. Oh, cool! A tidal wave of blood.
Tidal wave of blood.
Oh crap! A tidal wave of blood. A tidal wave of blood.
Stupid goddamn.
What the fuck? Jeez.
What in the shit is going on?
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I hate creepy midget kids.
Just let me think for a second. Open a portal.
Umbago.
Open a portal for us where the sun is the shining. Oh, that's what I did. On the plus side, though, this gives you a great idea for an episode.
What, haunted as fuck hotels?
No, well, kind of. The Shining and Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I hate that. It's so fucking scary. Anyway, join us from the guest on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to is GMTs, only on American Horrors, for a brand new episode where we're going to be looking into The Shining and Dr. Sleep consecutively, because that's the way it's supposed to happen. I'm going this way. Ah! Fucking kids, I hate them.
That way.